What is going on, everyone? Elliot here from MovieFiles, and we're here to celebrate a movie, man. A classic movie that came out, 7 years ago? On February 24th, Jordan Peele's classic, modern classic, in my eyes, came out, and that was Get Out. What a fantastic film. Happy birthday to Get Out. But we're here to talk about another classic, and that is a Tyler special, to be special, by the name of Mea Culpa, which is a play on words. You kind of know the meaning if you don't look it up. We're here to talk about it, man. This is I haven't done one of these in a while where it's like really no notes. I'm just going to kind of just talk to you all about this movie. I'm going to keep some of it spoiler free, but I got to talk about this film in length a little bit later in the review, so I'll let you all know when we're getting into the spoiler territory. But before we get into my thoughts of this to be special, hit the thumbs up, man. Consider sharing this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Are you a Tyler Perry fan? What's your favorite movie or project of his? Let's have some conversations in the comments below. Before we get into my thoughts, man, I got to say this up top before I kind of get into the ranting of it all. Listen, I respect Tyler Perry. I have seen a lot of his projects. It's been a while since I watched a movie of his. It's been probably over a decade, but I have very fond memories of my grandmother, rest in peace. She's no longer with us. Back in the day, she used to work at a cab stand, and she used to get all the bootlegs, man. I've seen probably 99% of Tyler Perry's, Medea plays and all the various movies he made up until, to this point of his career. So I'm very familiar with his work. And so, I have an association, a good fond memory of, Tyler Perry, Medea plays, grandmother who I love and dear, and again, I miss her so much. But I always have, a good memory when it associated to Tyler Perry. And I respect the fact that he creates opportunities, especially for Black people. When it comes to the studio out in Atlanta and other various things that he's done for the community, I applaud him. He's one of those people that he takes the steps that needs to be done as far as he initiates things, right? He's not waiting for people to just give him a check. Y'all don't want to make my movies? I'll make it myself. So I respect that about him. But my goodness, it needs to stop, y'all. It needs to stop. Someone needs to take the pen away, take the camera away, sit somewhere, Tyler, because it is. Listen, man, let me get into the positives. Let me try to make this a structured review. First and foremost, this movie is starring Kelly Rowland and Trevante Rhodes. First and foremost, I have the utmost respect for Kelly Rowland. I'm a 90s kid. Obviously Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, she has her own career. I love her. She was one of the reasons why I watched this movie. And I'm a big fan of Trevante Rhodes. I think he should be much bigger than what he is. He's had some really good films in his career, but also not the best career choices of films that he picks, this being one of them. So those were the two driving forces. And like I already mentioned, whenever I see a Tyler Perry project, I'm intrigued. Again, it's been a while since I watched one, but I was I'm going to watch this one. I like Kelly. I like Trevante. It's Black History Month, so I'm not going to be as mean to this film because, support all things Black. Speaking positively of this film, I got to admit, the movie follows Kelly Rowland, who's the name of the character, Mea. She's an attorney. She's a defense attorney. She comes across this case with Trevante Rhodes. He's this big known artist. He does paintings, accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend, or as he calls it, kind of a hookup situation. Thinking of defending him, and then something comes about where she's like, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. She's a defense attorney. She needs money. She's kind of put in this position where it's I need to take this before I can get money. So we had that situation, and as the film kind of prolongs, it is a psychological erotic thriller. So as you would imagine, if you haven't seen a trailer, Trevante Rhodes and Kelly Rowland, they end up falling for each other and yada yada yada, and some crazy stuff happens after that. So positively speaking, I would say the setup, the first 15-20 minutes, while there was some craziness going on very early on, I'm referring to Kelly Rowland's husband and his family situation, and his mom, who was just getting on my nerve the first time I saw her on screen. But there is an interesting setup of okay, she's gonna help this guy out. Okay, listen, I didn't even watch the trailer for this, so I'm thinking, oh, we're about to get into this murder mystery. In my head, I'm oh, he did it, maybe he didn't do it. We're gonna find some twisted stuff going on, and it does get twisted, but not in the way I was thinking. So I will applaud the film for keeping me on my toes. I did not anticipate the things that later transpires in this movie. And when I tell y'all, ain't no one watching this video or watching the movie, more importantly, will figure out what happens in this film. So I will say there's surprises. It's an interesting setup. I'm pretty sure this was shot in Chicago. I'm from Chicago, so I should know if it was shot in Chicago. It looked like it was a lot of Chicago area, so that's a positive, because shout out to my hometown. Anything else positive I want to say about this movie? Oh, you know what? I'll say this. When I cut my brain off, my logical, comprehensive side of taking in narrative, character development, all that, when I turned that off of my brain, because this film has none of that, I said, you know what, let me look at this as a comedy. And once I looked at it as a comedy, I was like, this is unintentionally funny. So I applaud the film for giving me some good laughs. Negatively speaking, I have seen my fair share of Tyler Perry films. I'm not saying this is the worst. It damn sure ain't the best. But the writing in this movie is baffling. Can we have the conversation with Tyler Perry? Like, this man, the way he writes all his characters, but I'm focusing on the way he writes his women characters. Kelly Rowland is an attorney who seems to have her own ish together. She has her own firm. She seems to have a good head on her shoulder. But my goodness, Kelly, the red flags weren't flagging with my man. I can't even think of the Zion, whatever his name was, Trevante Rhodes' character. The way that they get into their romance, erotic stuff going on, which there is 2-3 sex scenes that are pretty erotic. I will, for y'all that saw, y'all know what scene I'm talking about. First off, that paint scene, we're going to get into spoilers a little bit later, but that paint scene, can someone say yeast infection? Like, that is just, and then we'll get into the spoilers a little bit later, but I'm just baffled by the way he writes his women, because it's almost like women, if you guys are watching this, or however you identify. Was it me, or were these women in the film just dumb, like across the board, just making dumb decisions left and right? And I'm not going to dismiss the men in this film because they were just as dumb. The way he writes the women in this film and a lot of his projects is just like, what, just stereotypical. It's almost like Tyler Perry is aware of the tropes that he puts in his films, and tropes like black cinema that I grew up with in the 80s and 90s and all that stuff. But it feels like he's poking fun out of it. He's self-aware of the tropes, but then he plays it so seriously. There are just things in this film that was just baffling to me. The decisions made by these characters were just ridiculous. And some of the way, and as the film goes on, it gets crazier and dumber and doesn't make any sense what's going on. And it kind of like completely forgets about what it is at some point. Like, this man is on trial for murder, and they're not even talking about the case for half the movie. Like, I don't even know what's going on half the time, as far as like, isn't this man on trial for about to go to jail? He's on probation. It was crazy how this film forgot what it was about. Getting back to this film, it's just not structured properly. It's just really bad writing. And again, I'm used to the Tyler Perry treatment. Like, I don't go to Tyler Perry films looking for some like intellectual, thought-provoking narratives, but it's just like, can you just stick on a path and focus on what you're trying to get out of your story you're trying to tell? It was just like these characters were unlikable, from Kelly Rowland's character to Trevante Rhodes' character to that family. Let's talk about the family here. I'm talking about Kelly Rowland's husband's, his brother, his mom, and they were just so ridiculous. They were just a joke, especially when we get to that third act. Which, let's just get into the spoilers. I didn't like this film. I found some comedy in the ridiculousness. I'm gonna give it a 1.5 out of 5. All right, I give it that 1.5 because I laughed, and I love Kelly Rowland. She's a talented individual, and she is sexy as hell. Shout out to Kelly Rowland. And Trevante, man, come on, you got to do better, bro. You got to pick some better roles between this and the Predator movie he was in. He's been in some other stinkers in the last few years. Like, Trevante, you're a leading man. You should be the way Hollywood position, and obviously we know where he's at now. I'm referring to Jonathan Majors. I felt like that's the path that Trevante Rhodes should have been put on that pedestal. He's a great actor, but anyway, pick better projects, Trevante. And also, Kelly, if you want to be an actress, I've seen her in other films. The first time I saw her in the movie was Freddy vs. Jason. Like, don't do something like this again. Anyway, 1.5 out of 5. We gotta talk about these spoilers, man. Okay, so the film is set up. Again, full spoilers ahead. Again, I kind of laid out, if you're watching at this point, you know what the movie's about. When the film lost me is when Kelly Rowland goes, her friend in the film, shout out to the actor, I can't even get his name right now. He was I remember seeing him like in Sister and a bunch of other movies. He's a PI, terrible PI, by the way. He calls her and says, hey, because the whole thing, they're trying to work out the marriage. He didn't cheat on her, but he was like, went on a date with another girl and was talking to her on a video game. It was just stupid. So the PI calls her and says, hey, he's doing it again. He's at this hotel. And it's like, hold on, dude. Aren't you supposed to be a good PI? You couldn't tell that he was there because they flat out say everyone was there because, again, the mom was having cancer. We'll talk about that reveal. But terrible job on his part. So her whole motivation was, obviously Trevante Rhodes was hitting on her. She knew what was going on, which again, red flags. You're a smart individual. You got your own firm. As soon as he started hitting on you, done. Cut it out. I'm done. But that goes back to my writing with Mr. Tyler Perry. It's just like, these characters don't have any autonomy. They don't have any decisions. They can't make smart decisions. They just fall into the traps. And again, I get it. The genre is erotic thriller, fantasy, not, shaming anyone. I know that there's people out there that they want to be, submissive. I get all that in the narrative and like the fantasy of like, oh, I want to, a man to control. I get all that. All right. So I'm not coming at people that's like, it's a good fantasy. You want to be, her man was obviously a straight up punk ass, what. So I get that she went to go. Trevante was more confident. I get all that, y'all. Okay. So she finds out or thinks that her husband cheated again. And, she leaves homeboy's house. And the dude comes over, he's hitting on her. He goes to his little sex, I don't even know what that was, like a sex party under his apartment building. He invites he has the white girl over there. And Kelly Rowland is just like disgusted by what's going on. He's getting oral sex done on him. And she's looking at him. That whole scene was just so weird. She leaves, finds out about the husband. Then she comes back up. He tells the white girl, all right, I'm done. And Kelly Rowland's like, tag team, put me in, coach. Listen, Kelly Rowland, that character, I'm like, come on, bro. So they, she's like, no, I don't want to do this. They go on a little ride on the bike. They come back. He smashes. And again, the sex scene with the paint is like, come on, bro. Y'all about to catch a yeast infection. I mean, paint all over the place. She's in love. He's in love. The painting's on the wall. And by the way, at this point, I'm like, the brain's off. It's a comedy. Don't look at it any differently. Don't take this movie seriously at all because it's not taking itself seriously. She knew she made a mistake. She's kind of feeling bad about things. She doesn't know about the husband not sleeping with anyone quite yet, but she goes to meet with his boss. That was, by the way, again, the women in this film, like, it was just baffling that this black woman was defending this man who has allegedly killed this woman, and you got these other women outside of the gallery saying blood on the wall. It was just like, it's Tyler, stop it. Stop writing women characters, because he doesn't know women. Anyway, she meets with the woman. She tells her to reveal that, and I guess she was playing him, right? The artist, the gallery owner, she's using him. Like, the reason she's standing up for him because she's making money off of him. And also she's bitter because we find out that he slept with her. He used her to get on. And, as soon as he was done with her, he did the whole thing. And she reveals, like, it's a game. He does the same thing with all his girls, does the painting, wake up, blah, blah, blah. Kelly, that scene, she walks out of the painting gallery with the music. It was like, the film takes itself so seriously. That was the moment, like, oh, he's been tricking me the whole time. Like, come on, bro. Where are the red flags? Where's the intuition, women? Come on, man. So she goes to his house, walks in. By the way, they've only been talking for like a week. At least from the way the film frames it, they've only been in contact for no less than a week. Walking in, taking her coat off, goes upstairs, walking in his house. Oh, hey, what's up, baby? Like, they've been dating for 6 years. Takes down the painting, the words, I killed you, whatever. At this point, we're like, oh, he killed her. She breaks it off temporarily. She, fires him. Don't even get me started on, I fire you. No, I quit. No, I'm going to that was ridiculous. But then she ends up finding out that they have this family meeting out of nowhere. And the brother finds out that Kelly Rowland, I guess he had a PI following her because of the big reveal. You ain't gonna tell, what was his name? Cal, whatever that punk ass, her husband. He's like, tell her what happened. When she tells him, first off, that mom was trash. The whole family was throw him out, right? He says, I knew it, and flipping the tables. Did you fucking? Yes. I knew it, no! Whatnot, and her friend, the sister-in-law, who again, the women in this movie are just jokes because she's sitting there the whole movie. She's just taking the dude, her husband, like, shut up, be quiet, do this. I'm like, this is embarrassing. Anyway, tells the family in front of the family, which again is just like, this family just makes her do whatever. And by the way, I knew the mom didn't have cancer. I knew that from the first time she was on screen. Like, she was supposed to be dying in months. The way she, like, I knew that was going to be a reveal. Kelly takes a break from her husband, this relationship. She goes to the Dominican Republic and she sees Heidi. Was that the girl's name? That scene was hilarious, by the way. She's like, Heidi? No, speak no English. And she's running away and sprays her. Yeah.
I'm sorry. No one speak English. You talk to me. No!
Sprays her in the eye. Okay. Kelly calls the brother-in-law, who's a DA, who's trying to be mayor or whatever, and tells her the whole spiel. And let me just get to this third act, man, because again, this was just ridiculous. Come home, come home. And again, the way this film works, she's just there in a flash. She's there. The whole family's there except for her husband. And they're, getting there. Oh, let's wait till the husband gets here. Oh, just relax. She gets a text from her PI friend. And we don't know what it is, but it's, at this point, it's like, oh, the family. Again, I knew something was off. I was like, oh, the family has something to do with it. Kelly goes to the closet. She sees the picture of her best friend, sister-in-law, who slept with Trevante Rhodes, which then brings in the big reveal that the DA found out he set them up. And then Kelly Rowland happened to fall in love. So I don't think that they meant for that to happen. But my question is, homegirl, best friend of Kelly Rowland, why wouldn't she tell her that she had infidelity, she cheated on her husband, but also about like this guy sleeps with women, I slept with him, maybe you shouldn't fall in, get into this. Anyway, that happens. We get the reveal that the mom isn't sick. She doesn't have cancer. It was a sympathy card for him to run for mayor, and that he knew about his wife. So I guess his plan was so he has his, all this is being revealed. The knife's on the table, stab her, kill her. So what was the DA's plan, y'all? To kill Kelly Rowland, this big, lawyer, and to have his wife kill her. And what was going to be I don't know. Anyway, Kelly's running for her life. Her friend, I assume, is dead because she got stabbed by the mom. Kelly runs out of the house, gets kicked into the car. I can't remember how she got away, but she gets away from the brother, and then she runs to the street. And oh, and so behold, her husband, he's on the phone. Again, Kelly's like intuition and brains in this film is crazy. He's on the phone with 911. 911 calls him back, and then eventually they do a call back to earlier in the film about the radio not playing the Bluetooth or whatever. He hears the brother talking to the other brother, and the husband's in on it. The whole, and by the way, I think she killed the mom because when she was on the car, again, shout out to Get Out. They were trying to make like a Get Out crazy, like, get people excited type of moment. I think the mom died when she crashed into the tree or whatever. Kelly turns the wheel. Husband hits a truck. He dies. We find out the DA is going to jail. He's been covering up to Trevante Rhodes thing. He's free of charge now. He thanks, Kelly Rowland's character. And that's the end. Listen. I wouldn't say I wasted time because I had a fun time as far as when I turned my brain off and just enjoyed it as a comedy. But this was a pretty bad movie, man. It's just not well written. It's not the best acting. And again, I know Kelly Rowland's trying to become more of a serious actress. This ain't it, baby girl. Beautiful, gorgeous, talented, but this ain't it. Trevante Rhodes, like I said, man, you're extremely, like I said, I think he should be the next it guy, right? But this is a bad look. This is a bad look for everyone involved. And I'm just speaking on my perspective. I know Tyler Perry has his fans. Like I said, I respect the hustle. I have very fond memories of, the association I have with him and my grandmother. But this is not a good movie, y'all. This is, like I said, a To Be special. This is a To Be Tuesday special. And that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know what you think of the film. What was your funniest moment, favorite moment? If you enjoyed it, listen, by all means, if you enjoyed it, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It just wasn't for me. I thought it was pretty ridiculous, but if you enjoyed it, I'm happy for you. I'm going to end it here. Like, share, comment, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. It's been about 10 years since I've seen a Tyler Perry film, and after this, it'll probably be another 10 years before I see another film, because he's going to keep making it. Because look, at the end of the day, I watched it. You watched it. So, hey, he made us watch this movie. Anyway, y'all, let me know your thoughts in the comments. You all be safe. You remember you're awesome. And I will catch you guys on the next video.